It's 48 past the hour. Also at that poverty summit at Georgetown University, President Obama took a swipe at how some media outlets portray the poor in America.
I think the effort to suggest that the poor are sponges, leeches, don't want to work, are lazy, are undeserving, got traction. I have to say that, if you watch Fox News on a regular basis, it is a constant menu. They will find, like, folks who make me mad. I don't know where they find them, right? They're all like, I don't want to work. I just want a free Obama phone or whatever. And that becomes an entire narrative, right, that gets worked up. And you very rarely do you hear an interview of a waitress, which is much more typical, who's raising a couple of kids and is doing everything right but still can't pay the bills. And so if we're going to change how John Boehner and Mitch McConnell think, we're going to have to change how our body politic thinks, which means we're going to have to change how the media reports on these issues.
I mean, I don't know where to start. At a bipartisan summit, you decide to attack a cable news channel as the problem, and saying that Roger Ailes calls people leeches, and Roger Ailes' network calls people leeches, sponges, and lazy. That, first of all, at a summit that's supposed to bring both sides together in poverty, is stunning to me. Secondly, and I guess this is the problem, Barack Obama says, if we are to change the way that John Boehner and Mitch McConnell think, then we have to change Newsweek. Change the way they think? Is he really the sole arbiter of what is right and just? Is he the only one who cares about the poor? Could it be that a lot of people like me don't think that a top-down approach and trickle-down liberalism works any more than trickle-down conservatism? The arrogance to say, if we are to change the way our opponents think, you know what? Maybe he needs to change the way he thinks.
Well,
the arrogance of it all is staggering. People have disagreed in this country since George Washington had Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton together in the same cabinet. You work out differences. That's a creative friction. It's not I'm right, you're wrong. That is such an illuminating moment in this presidency. I'm a little embarrassed for him.
Well, I got to tell you, Joe, I have to disagree with you. But I can understand where you're coming from, given the clip that we just showed, and it was a clip. But the entire conversation revealed an aspect of the president that I think is wholly admirable, because he has a grip on a big problem in this country today. He referenced it several times. We no longer know who the poor are. And it wasn't just about poverty, and it wasn't just about race yesterday. There's a huge element of class in this country that he spoke to. And he spoke to...
What about this specific clip about Fox News calling poor people leeches, sponges, and lazy? Have you ever heard that on Fox News?
No, I have not.
Has anybody ever heard that on Fox News?
But I think he was talking...
Has anybody? No, this is important.
I don't really watch.
Has anybody ever watched anybody call the poor lazy, sponges, and leeches?
You hear that? Turn on the radio. Turn on talk radio.
Turn on talk radio. I was talking about Fox News.
I heard that on Fox News. But turn on the radio, you hear it all day long. We don't understand who the poor are.
Right.
Being poor is the hardest job in America.
We all agree.
He referenced that yesterday.
Well, right.
And he spoke, when he was talking about the schools, he was talking about a Harvard study, really, that classifies the difficulty of how neighborhoods are broken up today as to the way they were 20, 30 years ago.
And I guess here's my point. We all agree on that. We all agree. And so the idea of this summit was to bring people together. And this president comes to this summit, and he decides to bash Fox News, and he decides to bash people who send their children to private schools, like he does, decides to bash people who play golf at private golf clubs, like he does, and you just wonder why he has this need to fill self-righteous when just going there and trying to come to common solutions.
I don't think he was bashing.
You don't think that's bashing? When you're calling Fox News people that call the poor leeches, sponges, and lazy?
Not the Fox News thing. I'm talking about the references to the golf clubs and...
So let's continue.
Where does the president send his kids?
But in context, he was talking about class. When you make enough money in this country, you move to a different neighborhood, and you leave people who, because of lack of opportunity, they don't move with you. And you put your kids in private school because you live in a different neighborhood. And you join a club because you can afford to.
Yeah, well, perhaps the president should be more self-aware. Maybe that would have made it better.
All right, so joining this conversation, Republican Congressman Paul Ryan.